Ha! Bet I made you check your speakers, didn't I? Hey guys, what's going on? Brendan Miller here, back with another video. Today I'm going to be sharing 5 tips on how to become a better bass angler. Now I'm making this video assuming that most of the people watching are going to be beginners or intermediate bass fishermen. So if you're like a pro bass fisherman, you probably don't need these tips. But if you're just a beginner, these should be very helpful. So the first tip is know your target and know it well. This seems pretty simple, but trust me, knowing a lot about bass is definitely going to help you out on the water when you're fishing for them. I recommend check out some articles online, watch some tutorial videos on YouTube. I recommend Fluke Master's tutorials. He does a great job explaining all kinds of in-depth stuff about bass fishing. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. Even read some books. Yes, I know it is 2017, but people still do read books. Learn bass's feeding habits, how water temperature affects them, how weather affects them, what kind of forage do they prefer, where does their forage live, how bass respond to water clarity.
Knowledge
is going to help you a lot when you're out in the field. It's going to help you make better decisions, and it's going to help you catch more fish. So the next tip has to do with lures. And that is to use different lures. We all have lures that we are confident in. For instance, my favorite lures to use are square bills, swim jigs, and wacky rigs. But using the baits you're most confident in all the time can be a crutch. If you never branch out, you're never going to grow as an angler. For instance, I've gone to the lake a lot of times and I'm like, you know what, today they're going to be biting square bills. And guess what? I get to the lake and they're not biting square bills, and that throws me for a loop, and now I'm kind of panicking trying to figure out what they're biting. Branch out and try different techniques. I recommend going out and trying to master new techniques. For instance, one of the techniques I want to try to master this year is fishing a jig nice and slow. That is one of the things I have the most trouble with. I hate fishing jigs really slow. It drives me nuts. I'm more of a power fisherman. So go out, try some stuff you've never tried before. Try different lures, try different techniques. Get good at them. Don't just rely on the old favorites. Try to expand your skill set as an angler. The next tip I recommend is fish new water. Now this is one of the hardest things for me to do. I like fishing the old ponds and the old lakes that I fished for years. Train. But if you keep fishing the same body of water, you're not going to grow as an angler. I recommend get on Google Maps, look around, try and find some ponds, some lakes near you, and go fish them. Although I will recommend if you're going to fish ponds, you better have the landowner's permission, because trespassing can get you in big trouble. Fishing new bodies of water is challenging. Fish behave differently from lake to lake. Some lakes are going to be really clear, some lakes are going to be murky, some lakes the bass are going to be very aggressive, some lakes the bass are going to be more finicky. But fishing all those different types of lakes, you're going to be faced with challenges and situations you've never faced before, and you're going to learn a lot. The next tip is to fish species other than bass. For instance, I try to fish a lot of different species. I fish for bluegill, crappie, perch, walleye. Learning how to catch different species is going to be very helpful because you're going to learn a lot of different techniques, a lot of different tips and tricks, and those can come in handy when you're bass fishing. One quick example I've learned is I fish crappie a lot, and one of the baits I use for crappie is a Berkeley Gulp minnow on a jig head. It's a tiny little rig, but it catches crappie a lot. Now that I've adapted that technique, I use that little lure for smallmouth bass and for largemouth bass, and it works really well. So fishing different types of fish is definitely going to build your skill set up as an angler. Also, it helps you understand fish better. For instance, if I fish bluegill for a long time, I'm going to learn their feeding habits, where they live, how they react to different water temperatures and stuff like that. And this is going to help me as a bass fisherman because, as you know, bluegill are a primary source of food for bass. So I not only understand bass, but I also understand their forage and what their forage is doing. And if you can find the forage, if you can find the bait, a lot of times you will find the bass not far behind them. The next thing I recommend is to be aware of your surroundings when you're out in the water. A lot of times you can glean a lot of helpful clues just by looking at your surroundings. So when I'm out in the water, I try to keep an eye open. I'm looking for birds, I'm looking for bait. Maybe there's some bait busting over there. Maybe I see some minnows near the shore. Maybe I see a bass take off from the shore. All this stuff is very crucial into helping you formulate a pattern. Keep your eyes open, keep your senses sharp, and look for clues that are going to help you catch better fish. I made a video about this going into a little more detail. I will link them up in the cards somewhere up there. And again, guys, remember, one of the biggest things you can do to become a good angler is experience. Get out in the water and fish. If you don't fish, you're not going to gain experience. So that's kind of a bonus tip for you. You just get out there and fish. You're going to learn and you're going to grow as an angler. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Also, leave a comment if you have a question. I might just answer it. Also, follow me on Instagram at Brendan's Fabulous World of Fishing for exclusive videos and behind the scenes. Be sure to check out some of my other videos right here. We got a fishing pet peeves video, and down here we have the top 5 most underrated baits for bass. Check those out. And if you want to see more stuff from this channel, be sure to subscribe, hit the little bell icon to be notified when future videos come up. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you next time.